Welcome back into the Rowdy Studio. I am Buzz Cutler. That is Bassmasters. We're talking NASCAR racing. We're talking Bank of America 500.
Yeah.
Charlotte Motor Speedway. Human Cannonball. Carl Edwards.
Yeah, well, Carl Edwards. How about Matt Kenseth?
Matt Kenseth and Carl Edwards, both human cannonballs.
If you look at these two guys, teammates at Roush Fenway Racing, their chases have been similar. I think with the one exception of Chicagoland, Matt running out of fuel and Carl not. But they've both been fast. Matt winning the race, Carl running third at Charlotte. All the Fords were good. So they've done, I think, both those guys what they need to do to win a championship or put themselves in the mix for a championship.
Yeah, what they needed to do was assert themselves on these downforce tracks. Come out of Charlotte with the points leader in really strong shape because, as we said, Talladega's a crapshoot. Martinsville's not a great track for them. Phoenix, even though it's been reconfigured, you would think isn't really a Roush Fenway style of track, even with the reconfiguration. So the fact that they've come out of this first leg of downforce tracks strong, up top, ahead of the points in Carl Edwards' case and not far behind in Matt Kenseth's case, bodes really well for both of them in terms of championship hopes.
I agree. And if you look at the guy between them, Kevin Harvick, okay, Carl in the lead, Kevin 5 back, Matt 7 back. If you look at Kevin in the middle, we were just talking about how if you look at the tracks remaining, you might feel like Talladega might cut Kevin's way a little bit, although it's such a crapshoot, it cuts everybody's way. All right, let's say Phoenix and Martinsville probably cut a little more Kevin's way, and we'll say Texas and Homestead probably cut a little more Matt's way and Carl's way. So I think in a sense of a championship, it's gotten very interesting between those guys. And then you got maybe Jimmy coming from the rear if he can put something together.
Let's not put Jimmy into the same conversation at 35 points back.
Okay.
But
you don't want to. You don't have to.
But Roush Fenway.
Who won at Talladega last time?
Roush Fenway. Hey, that's only because Junior pushed him. It was all because of Junior.
Well, now Junior can push him again.
No, Junior will be
further
back.
They can make a deal where Jimmy says, I'll push you to the win, but that way I get to finish second. That's a good deal right there.
All right, get him on the phone. What I was going to say, though, is I think clearly right now Roush Fenway has superior speed to Richard Childress Racing.
Yes, on the downforce track, certainly.
And so all they have to do is stay close with Kevin Harvick. If Kevin Harvick gets an advantage out of Talladega, Martinsville, Phoenix, as long as Carl Edwards and Matt Kenseth don't get too far back after those races, you would think that on these downforce tracks, these mile-and-a-half tracks that we end the chase with, at least 2 of the 3 last races with, they're going to be able to get it done.
Oh, I agree. And if you look at the end game here, if you get all the way to Homestead and you're still talking about these 3 guys, and Kyle Busch he needs to go on a run. He's too far back to really be in the mix right now. 18 points back.
Which isn't...
and not showing the speed, although Charlotte had to be very
Charlotte was the first time Kyle Busch really looked
But if you just look at these 3 guys, the issue I think Matt and Carl are going to have with Kevin is if they do get behind him based on Martinsville and Phoenix, he's going to be hard to make up a ton of points on, even on these downforce tracks. Because if you look at what he does, if you just look at the last 2 races, he just gets to the end and finishes very solid top 10. And so it's going to be hard without a dominating type performance, without winning a race, to make up a ton of points on him. 3, sure. 5, you're getting into a danger zone with Kevin Harvick if you got to make up even 5 points on the guy.
Going into this past weekend, we said Charlotte was key for Carl Edwards because he had to assert himself on the downforce tracks. Now what we're saying is that Martinsville and Phoenix are key for Carl Edwards because he can't afford to get too far behind on tracks that don't play to his strength. So every race from this point forward is a key for Carl Edwards.
I think you look at it in a different way, these next 2 races for Carl and Matt. You look at it in a different way. You say the first half of the chase, mission accomplished. And you feel bad for Matt that he ran out of gas at Chicagoland, or he would probably be the points leader. But so these guys have done what they needed to do. They're in position, and now you look at the next 2 weeks and you see what happens. And that's the way we're looking at it.
Weren't we going to bring our Crown Royal into the studio and toast Matt?
It's a little early for that, isn't it?
Yeah, for Crown Royal?
Well, okay.
The breakfast of champions?
I keep forgetting.
Anyway, for Bassmasters, I'm Buzz Cutler looking for my Crown Royal.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.